All right, here we go. Hey everybody, I am of course the titular Adam, and although I failed to complete the Spartan Beast Cincinnati in June of 2025, I am on a journey to complete it in 2026. Thanks for coming with me. So today I want to talk a little bit about pivots. Some pivots are voluntary, some pivots are involuntary, but I've got a couple of them I want to talk about. So the first pivot I had to make was getting sick. Not grievously sick, but sick. Lots of congestion, made it difficult to do anything aerobic because I just couldn't breathe out of my nose. It might have been COVID, but by the time I thought to test, I was testing negative, so maybe it's not COVID. I don't know. Whatever it is, I wasn't breathing or sleeping very well, which certainly put a dent in some of my workouts. I'm trying not to beat myself up about that, because other than generally trying to stay healthy, there's nothing you can do once you get sick. Just get better, I guess. Second pivot is choosing to take a weekend off and go out to the lake with friends for a fantasy football draft. And I'm not beating myself up about that at all. I realize I missed out on some workout time. I realized I missed out on some of the ways to better myself physically. And I certainly did no small amount of damage to myself physically, given my diet while I was out there. But I feel like the joy I derived from that was worthwhile. So pivoting to something you enjoy, even if it takes something away from your workout plan for a while, I think is worthwhile, in moderation. If I spend every weekend like that, I'm never going to reach my goals. But if I sometimes spend a weekend like that, maybe it makes the hard work a little more palatable, you know? So I think I'm okay with that. Oh yeah, I did a couple workouts this week. We'll start with physical therapy. I got one additional strength workout in here at home. And then another pivot, I've actually traded out all of my running for now for hikes. Because even though my long-term journey is going to require a lot of running, and some of the intermittent goals within there, such as the Kentucky Derby Mini, are also going to require a lot of running, my most immediate goal is I've got about 4 weeks until I start the Appalachian Trail, and I'm not going to do a lot of running on the Appalachian Trail. So although cardiovascular fitness is good, and there's a lot that happens during running that I will use on the trail, more directly I can be training by simply walking up and down hills with weight on my back. So I decided to pivot away from running and pivot towards putting a 25 to 30 pound weight. I've partially packed up my backpack and then added some dumbbell weights to it in order to mimic my base weight. We'll talk a little bit more about the specific base weight that I'm trying to achieve and exactly some of the things I'm packing when I get a little bit closer. But right now, I'm just trying to achieve approximately the base weight of my pack. Base weight is the weight of all your things minus food and drink. And then go walk around with it. So I've been walking up and down hills as much as I can. I'll put 2 workouts here just to show you a little bit of what I've been doing. Obviously it's not as fast and certainly not as far as some of my running workouts, but it's good. And more than good, it's enjoyable. And it feels like preparing for the thing that's right ahead of me, which I think is really important. Anyway, back to the other pivot that I made during physical therapy. I started adding in something that is not just muscular. So we've talked previously about a lot of the workouts that I'm doing to enhance the peripheral muscles around my injured elbow joint. So as I'm recuperating from that, you get other things stronger in order to not have to put as much load on the joint itself. But I started adding in something, again at the behest of my physical therapist, called neural glides. I had never heard of these before, so I looked into them. And she does the neural glide, kind of manipulating the joint on her own while we're there, but then she also showed me how to do it myself. And I'll show you that in just a minute. But the important point is sometimes the soreness or the pain that you feel is not necessarily related directly to the ligament that's getting healed up or to the bone that had a hole drilled in it, But sometimes all of the inflammation and even the healing can start to compress or grip or hamper the motion of the nerves. So specifically the radial nerve that goes along the outside of the lower arm. She showed me some workouts that free that up. These neural glides or radial nerve glides help to loosen up the area in which that nerve is meant to move and keeps it from being pinched or compressed or hampered in any way. I had never really thought of nerves as moving around within your body, but of course, muscles and ligaments and bones and nerves all do still slide against each other a little bit. So it's kind of a new thing to add that is very unlike most of the other stuff I'm doing. Come on, let's take a quick look at a nerve glide. Okay, time for a quick workout lesson. So how do you do a nerve glide of the radial nerve, which is what's given me trouble? So put your thumb on the inside of your hand like that, wrap your fingers over it, and then with a pronated palm, so not facing up, not neutral, but your palm facing down, pronation, hold your arm straight on the side of your body, tilt your wrist backward, so flex your wrist, push your shoulder down, and your hand backwards, almost like you're knocking gently on a board behind you. And then relieve the pressure by letting your shoulder up a little bit. Then shoulder down and push your hand back and just hold it for a second or two and then back up. Maybe 25 to 30 reps about once a day is what I'm doing. All right, so hopefully that was useful. If you frequently find your forearm, that sort of tennis elbow pain is not getting better with tennis elbow tips from the internet, maybe try some radial nerve glides. Maybe it's not a muscular or a tendon thing. Maybe it is actually the nerve. So give it a shot. There are also nerve glides you can do for nerves in your neck, for nerves in your legs, for hip nerves. There's all sorts of different ones. So if you've been having trouble with something that doesn't seem to be responding to some of your traditional therapies, maybe check out nerve glides. It seems to be working for my arm, helping out a little bit. So maybe it'll help out you too. Anyway, that's all I've got today. I appreciate you coming with me, and I'll see you next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more content.